name is Hannah, and over the past couple of months, I've been collecting data, reading a ton of articles, and analyzing different components of exercise intervention programs for healthy adult females with overweight and obesity. So just to give a little bit of background and introduction on the topic that I'm presenting on today, since about 2005 to 2004, there's been a significant increase in obesity and overweight rates in women, and those rates have actually decreased in men. So you can see there's a significant discrepancy between those two populations there. There's also been a decrease of physical activity levels, with 60.6% women participating in moderate aerobic training versus 24% of men, and then only 19.8% of women participating in resistance training versus 43.9% of men. Overweight and obesity also pose significant risk to women's health, as there is an increased risk for cancers such as endometrial, ovarian, cervical, and breast cancers, and if they do have these cancers, there is a poor response to treatment. So the purpose of my study was to determine the components of exercise intervention that accommodate the distinct needs of healthy adult females with overweight and obesity. And the research questions that I tried to answer were the factors of adherence that promoted exercise training among this population, as well as the exercise interventions that would have the greatest effect in modifying risk factors among overweight and obese adult females. So this here was the conceptual framework that kind of guided my research process. I utilized the trans-theoretical model of change. As you can see, there are several stages of behavioral change, and individuals tend to either progress or regress amongst these changes, and there are characteristics that define each of these stages, and understanding the different characteristics that these individuals are experiencing amongst these stages of change help you to kind of determine what exercise intervention will best fit that individual's needs. So here you have a little figure showing the methods and research design process that I followed to find the articles that I analyzed for this integrative review. I also used a framework of Whitmore and NAFL to determine which articles would be included and excluded in my integrative review. So here were the results of my integrative review. I found that there were factors of adherence, type of exercise intervention, as well as risk factor modification that define those components of exercise intervention development. So amongst our factors of adherence, we have social support, guided exercise programming, and effective response. The types of exercise interventions that I looked into were aerobic training, high-intensity interval training, as well as resistance training. And the final component that I looked at was risk factor modification, where lipid profiles and cardiovascular function were major areas of interest for analyzing risk factor modification. So here are some of the nursing implications of how these concepts can kind of be adapted to nursing practice. So what you have here is a list of exercise interventions that you can utilize amongst your clientele, amongst your patient population. And then through those therapeutic relationships that you develop with your patients, you can start to identify what adherence factors can factor into building an exercise intervention program that will promote adherence in the long run. And then finally, you have your risk factor modification component, where you can select various exercise intervention types to be able to modulate certain factors of risk in that patient. And finally, there were a couple of limitations that I encountered during my research process. There's very few studies performed on healthy adult women. A lot of these women had pre-existing health conditions, so it was hard to kind of get an adequate analysis on healthy women with overweight and obese. There was also a lack of qualitative studies done on the aspects and factors of adherence, as well as exercise intervention types involving strength and resistance training. For future research, I think it would be very beneficial to kind of go into the qualitative aspects of exercise intervention development to understand the health perceptions, the belief, values, and attitudes amongst this population. And that will in turn give us better health promotion techniques and ideas to advocate for increased exercise adherence and promotion among this population. So in conclusion, I want to say that the incorporation of adherence factors, exercise intervention types, and risk factor modification creates a more holistic and comprehensive approach for the development of exercise interventions for overweight and obese adult women. And I'd like to thank Dr. Larimer for inviting me to share and present my research. And I'd also like to thank all my peers and colleagues in this program for providing me with valuable insight and feedback throughout my research process. Thank you.